Hi, and welcome to reading from the Children's Bible in 365 stories. Yesterday we had, the last story we had was story 5, which was the story of the two brothers. Today we're looking at the first murder, and it's a continuation of the previous story. This is the sixth story, and it also comes from the fourth chapter of Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible. And what happened in the last story is two brothers, Adam and Eve's sons, Cain and Abel. One became a farmer, one became a shepherd. They both went to sacrifice from what they had done, the work they had done to God, and God accepted Abel's and not Cain's, and Cain got very upset, very angry, and stormed away from God and Abel mad, and was letting his heart fill with hatred toward his brother for his brother having his offering to God be accepted. So we continue with today's story, the first murder. God was pleased with Abel, but he had refused Cain's gift. Cain was furiously jealous of his brother, and the sight of Abel's happy face only made him angrier. He determined to get even with him somehow. "Let's go for a walk in the fields," he called to Abel one day. "All right," Abel replied readily. Perhaps, after all, his brother wanted to be friends with him again. As they walked together through the peaceful countryside, Cain's anger burned more and more fiercely against the brother who he thought had done him wrong. With sudden hot hatred, Cain turned on the unsuspecting Abel and killed him with a single violent blow. It was all over in a moment. Without a backward look, Cain walked quickly away. Let's just pause because that's pretty amazing, because here he is killing his own brother because of jealousy, because of anger, because of choices he made and being rejected by God, his sacrifice rejected by God. And we don't really know for sure why God rejected it fully, but God did, and Cain had a choice to try and work diligently to do something that was more meaningful to God, or to walk farther away from God, and he chose to walk away from God, and it resulted in him killing his own brother. That's pretty amazing. It's pretty sad and disturbing at the same time. Well, let us find out what happens. Then God spoke to Cain. "Where is your brother?" God asked. Cain's heart missed a beat. It's as if God knew what happened. Maybe God does. But he answered casually, "How should I know? Am I supposed to look after him all the time? Or, as we like to say, am I my brother's keeper?" That comes from this story, that phrase. And Cain says, "Do I need to be in charge of watching out for my brother? He can take care of his own actions." God speaks again to Cain. "Why have you done such a terrible thing?" And God was sad, very, very sad, because Cain had killed Abel, not only his brother, but someone God had made a gift to Adam and Eve, just as Cain was a gift to Adam and Eve, and killed him when it wasn't his place to kill him. This is the first story in the Bible of murder, and it speaks about something profound. God was incredibly saddened by this. This was not how God's people were supposed to be acting. It continues. Then Cain realized that God had seen all that had happened and knew about the hatred and jealousy in his heart. Wow. "Your brother's blood cries out for justice," God told Cain, "and this will be your punishment. The earth will no longer grow fine crops for you. You will become a homeless wanderer for the rest of your life." Think about that. And what it means by justice, your brother's blood cries out for justice, is he did not deserve to die and die in the way he did, and something has to be done to make right that wrong. And the punishment or way in which the consequences for Cain's actions, remember, he was a farmer. He loved to grow plants and crops. And what God says is from now on, the earth is not going to give you good crops. No matter how hard you try to grow, it will not give you good crops because of what you have done. And you will be wandering homeless. That'd be awful to have to wander around homeless with no place to live, to make permanent, no people to cling to, no family to support, to be left wandering alone all the time. It continues. Cain cries out to God, "My punishment is too great to bear. Those who find out what I have done will in turn kill me because I killed my brother." And God says, "I will protect you. You will not be killed." So Cain went away from his farm and from his home. Worse still, he went away from God. He had been too proud to listen to God's warning. He had chosen to hate Abel and to murder him instead of loving his brother and being happy with him. What a sad story. There's no way to fix that. His brother is dead. It cannot be undone by Cain. It cannot be fixed. And he didn't just lose his brother. He lost his family. He lost his home. He lost his livelihood. Being a farmer, the ground was not going to produce fruit because God had told the ground not to produce fruit for him, not to grow crops for him. What a sad story. And what he ended up doing, just like Adam and Eve, is he trusted himself over God, and that got him into trouble. And here God still cares about him. You know, God could have taken his life on the spot because he took a life. Instead, God left him to wandering alone and put a mark of protection on him, saying, "I will keep you safe. You're going to live till you grow old and pass normally. But you will not have what's important. You will not have family. You will not have a place that is yours. You will not have a home. You will wander the rest of your life." Such a powerful, sad story, but it teaches us to think about our anger. It teaches us to think about how we act. It teaches us how to think about when things in life don't go the way we're thinking about. How do we make adjustments? Do we seek God first? Or do we seek after our own self-interest, our own solution? Or do we act out of our emotions and make choices that get us in trouble? It's an important story in the life of Christians to really think about this story and the ways in which we move toward God and away from God. And do we love the people in our life, or do we let hatred come in and mess up the relationships we have with the people in our life? Well, thanks for listening in. We'll get to the next story soon. Have a good day.